All right, get ready because today we are really going deep into a story. It's captivating and chilling, all at the same time. It's the Murdaugh family saga. Now, you might have heard about this powerful South Carolina legal dynasty, and you might already know about their absolutely stunning downfall. But trust me, there are layers to this story, layers that will leave you speechless. We've got a mountain of articles, legal documents, media coverage, just a ton stuff to get through. So get ready for a wild ride.
What I find so fascinating about this whole case is just how deeply the Murdaugh family was intertwined with the legal system. Like, we aren't just talking about a few lawyers here. We're talking about a dynasty that held the position of chief prosecutor for almost a century.
A century?
A century!
Imagine that.
Yeah, 3 generations controlling the legal system.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
They weren't just lawyers. They were the law. Like in a 5-county region of South Carolina. They even earned the nickname Murdaugh Country. That's how much power they had. So how did they maintain this iron grip for so long? Was it just the family name? Or was there something more?
Well, it was a combination of factors, really. You see, the position they held, the circuit solicitor, had immense power in South Carolina. They decided who got charged with crimes, and they had a huge influence on the outcome of cases. And generation after generation, the Murdaughs, they held this position, building this network of alliances. And they really solidified their control over the entire legal landscape.
It sounds like a system that is just ripe for abuse. Did anyone ever challenge their authority?
Oh, there were whispers, of course. There were rumors. But challenging the Murdaughs, oh, that was no easy feat. They had the resources, the connections, the reputation. They could just intimidate anyone who might have thought to oppose them. It created a real culture of fear and silence. Made it very difficult to hold them accountable for anything.
So it's not just about legal expertise. It's about these power dynamics and the impact of just this single family on an entire community. And this power, this wasn't limited to the courtroom. They also built this formidable personal injury law firm, PMPED, which later became the Parker Law Group. Mm-hmm. They were known for their aggressive tactics, particularly against these large corporations, like CSX Railroad.
Right, yeah. And they were incredibly successful, securing massive settlements, just added to their wealth, their influence. It seemed like nothing could shake this dynasty. Like, we were untouchable. But then, well, cracks started to appear, and the facade of this perfect Murdaugh family started to crumble.
The first major crack, I think, in this Murdaugh facade was this tragic 2019 boat crash involving Alex Murdaugh's son, Paul. Can you tell us more about that incident?
Absolutely. So in 2019, Paul Murdaugh, who was underage and heavily intoxicated, he crashed the family boat. This resulted in the death of 19-year-old Mallory Beach. The incident sent shockwaves through the community, not just because of the tragedy itself, but because of the allegations that followed.
There were whispers of special treatment, right? Did the Murdaugh name shield Paul from facing the full consequences of his actions?
That was the question on everybody's mind. People started questioning, was the investigation being conducted fairly? Was the Murdaugh family's influence being used to protect Paul? It cast a dark shadow over the family's reputation, and it brought renewed attention to another really unsettling case, the unsolved 2015 death of Stephen Smith.
Now, this is where things get really intriguing. Stephen Smith was found dead under suspicious circumstances, and rumors have been circulating for years about the Murdaugh family's possible involvement. Yeah. Tell us more about this case and why it was suddenly thrust back into the spotlight.
Well, Stephen Smith's death, it was initially ruled a hit and run, but many people questioned that conclusion. You see, there was evidence that didn't quite add up, and the investigation just seemed to have stalled. When the boat crash happened, people began to connect the dots, wondering if there was this pattern of suspicious deaths linked to the Murdaughs. The authorities ultimately reopened the investigation into Stephen Smith's death, but it remains unsolved to this day, adding another layer of mystery to this already convoluted saga. The boat crash and the renewed scrutiny of Stephen Smith's death, that was just the tip of the iceberg. What happened next sent shockwaves through the entire nation. It really exposed the dark heart of this story.
You're talking about the murders of Maggie and Paul Murdaugh in June 2021, right? It's hard to believe that just a few years after the boat crash, this family would be struck by another tragedy. But this time it was a double homicide. It just shook the very foundations of Murdaugh Country.
It was a shocking turn of events. Alex Murdaugh called 911, claiming he had found his wife Maggie and son Paul shot dead at their hunting estate. Moselle, the brutality of the crime. And coupled with the family's already tarnished reputation, this immediately captured national attention.
Yeah, I remember following the news as this unfolded, and everyone was just trying to make sense of it. Was this a revenge killing related to the boat crash? Was someone targeting the family for their power and influence?
There was like a whirlwind of speculation. But the investigation quickly zeroed in on Alex Murdaugh as the prime suspect. And as the authorities dug deeper, what they uncovered was this web of deceit. It extended far, far beyond the murders themselves.
Hold on, are you saying that the man who reported finding his wife and son murdered was actually the one who killed them,
Yeah.
and that this was all part of a larger scheme?
That's exactly what the prosecution argued. You see, as they investigated the murders, they started uncovering evidence of Alex Murdaugh's financial crimes. We're talking about millions of dollars, embezzled from his law firm, clients, even his own family.
Wow, it's hard to fathom the level of betrayal involved. These were people who trusted him, clients who were already facing really difficult situations, relying on him for legal representation.
Yeah.
And all the while, he was allegedly stealing from them,
Yeah.
using their money to fuel his own lavish lifestyle and to cover up his mounting debts.
The prosecution presented a very compelling case. They argued that Alex Murdaugh killed his wife and son to distract from his financial crimes and to gain sympathy, to buy himself more time. The defense, of course, maintained his innocence, but the evidence was pretty overwhelming.
The trial itself was a media sensation, with every detail just dissected and analyzed by legal experts and armchair detectives alike.
Yeah.
What were some of the key pieces of evidence that led to Alex Murdaugh's conviction?
Well, there's several, but a few stand out. One was a video taken on Paul's phone shortly before the murders. It placed Alex Murdaugh at the scene of the crime, contradicting his earlier alibi. Then there was the issue of the weapons. The type of ammunition used in the murders matched ammunition found elsewhere on the Murdaugh property.
So it wasn't just about proving he had the opportunity, but also that he had the means.
Exactly. And then there was the testimony of witnesses who spoke about Alex Murdaugh's erratic behavior in the days leading up to the murders, his desperate attempts to cover up his financial misdeeds and his history of lying and manipulation.
It's like a classic case of a house of cards collapsing. It seems like he thought he could keep juggling all these secrets, all these lies, but eventually the weight of it all just became too much to bear.
Yeah, and the consequences were just devastating. Not only did he lose his wife and son in this horrific crime, but he also destroyed his own life and reputation, leaving his surviving son, Buster, to grapple with the wreckage of their family legacy.
Yeah, the trial may be over.
Yeah.
And justice, in a way, has been served. But there are still so many unanswered questions. What about the deaths of Stephen Smith and Gloria Satterfield?
Yeah.
The Murdaugh's housekeeper who died under mysterious circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like every layer we peel back in this saga just reveals another tragedy, another unanswered question. Where do the investigations into Stephen Smith and Gloria Satterfield stand now?
Well, those cases are still very much active. The South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, SLED, has been diligently pursuing new leads and re-examining old evidence. In Gloria Satterfield's case, there were allegations of financial impropriety surrounding her death, with suspicions that Alex Murdaugh had misappropriated settlement funds that were intended for her family.
It's unfathomable how deep this rabbit hole goes. It's not just about the murders anymore. It's about a pattern of potential wrongdoing that spanned years, affecting countless lives.
Yeah, and that's why these cases are so important. They represent the possibility of justice for those who may have been silenced or overlooked in the past. The investigations into Stephen Smith and Gloria Satterfield are about more than just uncovering the truth. They're about holding those responsible accountable, regardless of their name or influence.
Yeah, it's a testament to the resilience of those who have fought tirelessly for answers. For those who refuse to let these cases fade into obscurity, what's the latest in those investigations? Have there been any significant breakthroughs?
SLED has been pretty tight-lipped about the specifics, but they have indicated that progress is being made. In Stephen Smith's case, they exhumed his body for a second autopsy, hoping to uncover new forensic evidence. They've also conducted numerous interviews and followed up on leads that were initially dismissed or ignored.
It sounds like they're leaving no stone unturned, which is exactly what these cases deserve. But even if they uncover the truth, it won't bring back the lives lost.
That's true, but it can provide a sense of closure for the families and perhaps prevent something like this from happening again. The Murdaugh saga is a cautionary tale, a stark reminder that power and privilege can be easily abused, and that justice is not always swift or guaranteed.
This deep dive has been a whirlwind of emotions, from shock and disbelief to anger and sadness. It's a story that challenges our perceptions of justice,
Yeah.
family, community. What do you think are the most important takeaways from this saga?
Well, I think it underscores the importance of holding those in power accountable, regardless of their status or connections. It also highlights the need for transparency and a robust system of checks and balances, particularly within the legal system.
It's a stark reminder that even in seemingly idyllic communities, darkness can lurk beneath the surface, and that we all have a responsibility to speak out against injustice and demand answers when things don't add up.
Yeah, and it's a testament to the power of perseverance, of those who refuse to give up on the pursuit of truth and justice, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable obstacles. The echoes of the Murdaugh family's actions will continue to reverberate for years to come, prompting us to examine our own communities, our own systems of power, and our own roles in ensuring that justice prevails.
This deep dive has taken us on a twisted and harrowing journey through the dark heart of a powerful family's fall from grace. But amidst the tragedy and deceit, there's a glimmer of hope. The hope that truth will ultimately prevail, and that the pursuit of justice, however long and arduous, is a journey worth taking. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep the conversation going.